Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for attending the meeting today. So before I start, I wanted to tell you that the reason I'm presenting online is actually because of AI. So I booked my hotel and I planned everything to be in Buffalo, but I'm using AI to control the temperature in my house. And the AI, for some reason, decided to make the bedroom freezing cold in the morning on Sunday, and I got a very bad flu. So because of that, I wasn't able to travel because of AI's decision, actually. But I want to thank John and Stephanie to accommodate this last minute situation, and we are going to handle the session online. So before further ado, I'm gonna move forward to the presentation. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how we can augment our courses with artificial intelligence. So I want to see uh, how we can use ChatGPT and some other tools. I will show multiple AI tools that I use to enhance the courses that we are teaching. So first, let's see some of the capabilities and background of ChatGPT, and then I will show you the ways that I use it to make my courses AI augmented. So here you can see M3 exam. M3 is a multimodal, multi-level exam. So it's an exam that has many questions. Questions are from different areas, medicine, business, law, etc., right? Biology. And it was zero-shot result. So think this way. When you talk to a human being, right? When you ask them address, so how can I get to Buffalo? How can I get to Rochester, right? We don't give them examples. We don't tell them, okay, I want to get to Rochester, right? Here is the very last person explain how I can get from the point A to point B. Try to explain it this way, right? We don't do that. We are zero shot. We have zero shot communications, right? We just ask the question and expect the answer, right? So these results are zero shot. Sometimes you may see 3 shot, 2 shot, right? This means the system was given 3 examples. Here is how we give address from Rochester to Buffalo. Here is how we give address from Syracuse to Buffalo. Here is how we give address from NYC to Buffalo. Now give me address from Toronto to Buffalo, right? So that one is kind of giving examples and then expecting the output. This one is zero shot results. So you can see that we have ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 4.0, which was announced last week, right? ChatGPT Omni. You can see that ChatGPT Omni is exceeding the capabilities of ChatGPT 4 by far, right? At least 10% improvement on each language. So multi-language, multi-level, and multi-modal questions. So you can see English is the best language, then the second best is Italian, etc. So you can handle 80% of questions correctly in English language. This is exam results, different exams, different popular exams that we have. For ChatGPT 3.5, 4 no vision, and 4 with vision. So the blue one shows ChatGPT 3.5. You can see GRE writing, for example. It was doing better than 50% of human beings, right? ChatGPT 3.5. Or we can see GRE quantitative. The first version of ChatGPT was doing it better than 20% of human beings, right? Now, let's check the light green. The light green is GPT-4, no vision, which means it couldn't read images then. The version that they tested couldn't read images. So we can see that GRE quantitative, the ChatGPT-4 got to 60%, 60 percentile, right? It was doing better than 60% of human beings. Now check when we add vision. to ChatGPT, right? Now it can read charts. Now it can read tables. Now it can read images. It is doing it better than 80% of humans, right? And some exams is even doing better than 99% of human beings. And this improvement that we see here happened in a course of only 1 year. From GPT 3.5 to GPT 4, it was just 1 year. It's not GPT Omni yet, right? GPT Omni is much better than this one. So this is the capability of the system, right? So let's see how we can use it in our courses. So the way I use it is in these areas. AI augmented syllabi. And I'm going to show you how it works. Then AI for image generation and DEI, right? I use AI to create more DEI content and more inclusive PowerPoints, more inclusive images, etc., etc. We can use AI to generate videos. We can use AI to create data for our courses, right? If you're teaching economics, right? If you're teaching statistics, right? I'm teaching marketing research. For marketing research, it's very crucial to give students hands-on experience with data, right? And if you give them the same data, they'll learn that they can get the answers from others, right? But if every time you can generate a new data set, they cannot copy each other's answers or last semester's answers, right? They have to do the tests themselves. I will show you some of the capabilities of AI for coding, and eventually I will show you how I use AI for advising. So let's go to the first part. So if you have GPT version 4, the premium version, you can scan this barcode here, please, and interact with my syllabus. So I have put, interact with my syllabi actually. I have put 3 of my syllabi from winter and spring on this GPT. So what I did, I used GPT premium version, GPT-4. There is a part for GPTs, right? I created a GPT with information about my own courses, my own syllabi, right? And then I put it online for my students. So can you tell me in the chat or in the room if you were able to access the syllabi? Yeah, those who have the paid version. So I'm gonna show you some of the capabilities. You please tell me if you can hear my phone, okay? I'm gonna use my phone to show you some of the capabilities, okay? So you tell me if you can hear when the phone talks back to me. Hey, ChatGPT, can you tell me which books do you have questions about? Hey, ChatGPT, can you tell one and can you tell me about marketing research course? Is there a way to get extra credit from this course? Yes, I can provide details about the marketing research course, MKT 375-800. For extra credit in this course, you need to email the instructor the name of one of your favorite books by the last day of the second week of the course. This will earn you one extra credit. If you need more details about the course, feel free to ask. So, can you tell me about the exams in this course? When are these exams and what are included? So, can you tell me about the exams in marketing research course? It's trying to connect. My internet connection is not working very well. Can you tell me about the exams, please? Sure, I can help with that. Which course would you like to know about the exams for? Marketing research. 1, MBA 590, ChatGPT for Business. 2, MBA 514, Marketing Management. 3, MK 375, Marketing Research.
Please let me know which one you need information on.
Marketing research.
For the Marketing Research course, MKT 375, there are 2 exams. Exam 1. This covers chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. It takes place during week 6 on Tuesday, February 27th. Exam 2. This covers chapters 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. It is scheduled for week 13 on Thursday, April 18th. Each exam contributes 22.5% to the overall grade.
Okay, so even more than that. So students do not need to communicate with the syllabus in English. I don't know if anybody speaks Persian in this room. So let me ask you a question about the syllabus in Persian, and we'll ask you to respond in English. Okay? So let's see how it can handle it. ChatGPT میشه در مورد کورس تحقیق بازار به من بگی که امتحان پایان ترم کی هست به انگلیسی جواب بده.
There is no final exam for the Marketing Research course, MKT 375.
You see, I asked you the question in Persian and it's responded. So imagine it's international students that you have, right? They may not be comfortable. I have so many students from France, right? From Turkey, right? They may not be comfortable asking questions in English. They're new, right? First semester, second semester, they're still struggling. They can communicate it in their own language with ChatGPT, right? This time I ask you to respond in English so the audience in the room can understand, right? But it will, it's able to respond in the original language that the question was asked, right? So this way, the students have a method to chat and talk with the syllabus, right? This will improve their experience with the course. Aside from that, if we give all the syllabi that the students, all the syllabi for the courses that one student is taking, give them to ChatGPT, it can create a study plans for the student based on the exams that they have during the semester, right? So it has information about the, let's say, 5 courses that one student is taking, right? It can find out the exams, everything about it, right? And it can create a study plan for the student, right? Mondays, study 2 hours. Tuesdays, study this course, right? And then before the midterm exam, it will provide more directions, more plans for the student to be prepared, right? So this is one of the ways that, so I have 2 questions. Ron and Thomas in the chat are asking if a student needs a premium version. So the answer is yes and no. Yes, if you are using ChatGPT as interface. No, if you can connect it to API, use the API, then the students don't need to have the GPT premium version. Okay, it will be beyond this session if I want to explain how to do that, right? But if you email me, I can show you how you can connect it to other systems. So they will use your API. It will cost you, I think, 1 or 2 cents for each question that the student asks, right? But it will not require the student to have GPT premium version, the paid version. Okay. Any questions before we move to the next one? All good? So the other thing that I use ChatGPT for is to create.
Mohammed, there is a question from the room.
Go ahead, please.
I have a question about, in the beginning, you shared the result of how ChatGPT or other AI tools are doing better than human beings on SAT tests. So my question is, this may be a very, very simplistic, but let me ask you, is the assumption in that image that my child, if an AI tool does better on the SAT than my child was preparing, does it mean that he doesn't need to take it anymore because the machine does it better? Or does it mean that he needs to use that machine to do it for him? Or is he trying to use it to learn and enhance his SAT, exam skills? What is the premise of that comparison between the chat GPT and the human being?
Yeah, that was a very good question. So this is ChatGPT, right? I have an article. I don't have it right now, but I've read an article that shows one large language model. I'm not sure if it was ChatGPT, but that model solved mathematics Olympiad questions better than the gold winners. Okay, so we are getting to a level that AI is outperforming human beings on quantitative and qualitative aspects. So the implication would be two-way.
Okay.
One way is automating tasks. The other way is augmenting the tasks that are being done by human beings. If you ask me, I would say, at least in short term, what will happen is that AI would be an augment to human beings. We'll be doing our jobs, but for calculations for many tasks, we can get the help from ChatGPT or other AI tools to perform it better. Maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, the system is so reliable, we can automate tasks. So for now, I would say students, those who are preparing for the exams, can use ChatGPT to help them improve their learning. Somebody who is, why do we have these tests? Because a student who is accepted for finance needs to have good quantitative skills, right? They have to solve quantitative questions, right? When they get to do their jobs, when they get to do their courses, they can benefit from ChatGPT and other AI tools to augment their performance and their learning, right? Think of the calculator, right? Calculator made calculation cheap, right? 100 years ago, people would, people were paid, those who could sum large numbers, right, in their head, right? They were paid high, accountants, for example, right? Because nobody else could do that. With calculator, that part became cheap. Calculation was cheap after calculators, right? Then we didn't have to pay too much, right, for summing or subtracting numbers, right? With AI, prediction is becoming cheap, right? Doctors are predicting the patient's sickness, disease based on the symptoms, right? That one is becoming cheap. Pilots make a prediction about the next move, right? Based on their experience. That prediction is becoming cheap. So if you want to think it this way, think of calculation versus prediction. Prediction is becoming cheap. Predicting the answer to quantitative, qualitative, different questions is becoming cheaper and cheaper, right? This makes our jobs easier, right? This can augment human beings, and then maybe in long run, it can automate us.
Thank you.
I hope they answered your question. Do we have other questions? If not, I will go to this slide. Okay. So you can see I'm using different AI tools, ideogram, DALL-E, right? Particularly for me, to generate images for my courses, right? This took me like 5 to 10 minutes. AI augmented courses, Unifact to create this poster for my presentation. This one I use for my marketing research, right? Error type 1 and error type 2. I asked AI to create some comic images that shows this and that, right? Two things. First, it makes the slides more interesting. Second, I don't need to worry about copyright anymore because I generated those images. I hold the copyright. The other thing that I use ChatGPT, especially the premium version that has vision, is to generate alternative text. So there are images, there are formula in our presentations, in our slides, right? And to make our slides more inclusive, we need to add alt text, alternative text. So those who have different abilities, a student with different abilities, who are using, let's say, screen readers can read the content better and easier, right? So I give the images, I upload the images to ChatGPT and ask it to create alternative tasks. Especially for formula, for mathematical parts, it works a lot. It works very good. So let me show you one example of a video that I've created that shows how we can use AI. Even I use it in my courses actually to show my students how they can use ChatGPT to create more inclusive content. It's a very basic example, but let's take a look here. Okay, let's see how we can use ChatGPT to create more inclusive content. So here, I'm going to task it to improve a question that I have for one of my surveys. Please change the wording of the following question that I provide between a start and end to be more inclusive. The question is about gender. So let's see how ChatGPT can make this one more inclusive. Okay, so we can see that ChatGPT has created the survey, has changed the question and its options to make it more inclusive. So we can see it was one easy way. Let's see how we can. One easy way of making the content more inclusive. Okay, so let's move to the next part. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask during the presentation. You don't need to wait to the end of the presentation. Feel free to type it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask your question if you have any questions. So here, I'm using AI tools to create videos and to duplicate my own voice. So let me make sure that I have shared the sound. So the question, Fanita, the question in the previous example was an old question that was asking about gender. The options were only male and female. I asked ChatGPT to make that question more inclusive. And then ChatGPT created other options for non-binary and others who don't want to pick the male or female option. So here, I have two examples for you. One is I duplicated my own voice using an AI tool called Descript. The one on the left, I would play it. And the one on the right was image to video. So I gave it one image and it created a video off of that for me, right? And think of the uses of these tools for online courses, right? You want to create content for your classes, right? You can use these tools to narrate your slides. So let's listen to this one. I was using the free version. So in between the sound, the voice that it has created, the text that it's reading, it may say gibberish, okay? Because I have not paid for this service. So let's listen to this one.
Hello all, welcome to the...
Dear board members, in this presentation, we are going to discuss Java of AI in business. We will discuss different Java tools.
Let's play it again.
Dear board members, in this presentation, we are going to discuss Java of AI in business. We will discuss different Java tools.
So all I did was I gave the AI tool, I think 15 minutes of my speaking, right? 15 minutes of me talking, right? My voice. And then it was able to duplicate my voice. After that, I just type in what I wanted to say with my voice, and it will do it. The one on the right is image to video. So I gave it my picture, one image, and it's like creating a video off of it for me. The voice on this one is not my voice because this AI tool didn't have the voice duplicate feature on it. So let's listen to this.
Hello all, welcome to the Research Happy Hour. In this session, we are going to discuss the effects of AI on teaching and research.
Just imagine if we can combine these two. Duplicate my voice and then give my image to the AI to read the content with my voice, with my video, which it has created from just one picture, right? So we can narrate many of our online courses actually using these things. So Now let's move to the next part. Data preparation, right? AI for data preparation. If you are using ChatGPT right now, I can ask you to please type in this code, this prompt for ChatGPT. You are a university professor, we are giving it a role, wanting to test a student's learning of t-test and ANOVA. Create a data set in CSV format, right? We can ask it the output format, right? It has income as one column in US dollar. The other column is living area, urban versus rural. So we can do the t-test. And another column for ethnicity, African American, Caucasian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Asian. I want data set to have a total of 500 observations. Once you do that, in a couple of seconds, ChatGPT will create a data set for you. Here I have a screenshot of what I did, right? You can see it created the CSV data set for me in a couple of seconds, right? I can use it in my marketing research course to teach my students t-test and ANOVA, how they can run t-test and ANOVA on this data set. And even better than that, right? You have different groups in your class. You want to make sure that they are not, getting the answers from each other, right? I ask it, now create 5 different versions of this data set by changing the variable values, right? Now you can see it created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versions of this data set. Now I'm sure that different groups in my class are working on different data sets, right? So it makes my job much easier, right? In past, I had to use R to create random numbers, to create different columns, etc., etc. Now in a couple of seconds, I can do that, right? And it helps me create better examples for my students and help me to be more, confident about the integrity of my exams or term projects. So, any questions about this one? If you have tried it, let me know if it worked for you. So let's go to the next one. We can ask ChatGPT actually to create data sets based on real data. So that one, I was asking it to create random numbers, right? So I can use it as a test in my class, right? But you can see here, I asked ChatGPT to create a real data set of the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. So create a table of 50 companies from Fortune 500 list of 2022. Create a column for the CEO and a column for their gender and a column for their salary, right? So I tasked ChatGPT to list 50 companies from Fortune 500. Then I asked it to write the name of company, find the CEO, their gender, and the salary, right? It would have taken me a couple of weeks at least to find all this data. In a couple of seconds, ChatGPT created that for me. I think Christina says it works in Copilot. That's true, right? Copilot is actually GPT-4. So Yogesh is asking, did you verify the data that is given is correct or not? So I can tell you that the data is not perfect. You have to always supervise it. What I do is I randomly ask it to give me the source. So for example, for CVS Health, can you please provide me your reference, right? Where did you find this salary? It will go and give me the database and we'll go and check. So if you want to know whether is it perfect or not, it is not. Okay, there are errors, but we are getting there. So this is just 2 years from ChatGPT, right? I'm sorry. Second. So this is just 2 years from GPT announcements, right? A year or two from now, this will be perfect, right? It can find the data that we find perfectly, and we can be sure that it is reliable. For now, it's okay. It's not perfect, but it's okay. So then I asked it, code the variable gender into zeros and ones and provide a CSV out. So I can give it to my student and you can guess what is the question, right? Can you find disparity between the salaries of male and female CEOs among Fortune 500 companies, right? Now my student can run a t-test. Interestingly, I can ask ChatGPT to write the code, write a t-test code in R that compares the average salaries of men and women in this t-test, right? And it can run the code. I have noticed that it can even execute code. So I asked it to create the t-test and I asked it to execute the code within ChatGPT and it did the job, right? So it can even execute the code that it writes to a good level. Not everything, but to a good level, it can do at least the basic tasks. Any questions so far? All good? Okay. So I'm gonna move to the next part. Here is the code that it wrote for, right? To compare males versus AI for coding and annotation, right? It was an example. I showed you one example of how we can use ChatGPT to code for us, right? That was a simple example. There's so many other things that we can do with ChatGPT. Let's say you have a code in R, you want to translate it to Python. It can do the job. Let's say you have a code and you want to explain it to your students, right? It takes so much time to annotate all the code so they can see, they can understand what you have done in each step, right? We can task ChatGPT to annotate the code. Then when we give it to our students, right, we don't need to explain what we are doing in every line. They can read the annotation, right? And they can understand what we are doing. So here is an example of code translation that I did with ChatGPT a while ago. And this is the part that I use the most for my own work. So let's take a look. One of the cool things about ChatGPT is its ability to translate code from one programming language to another one. Here I'm going to demonstrate a very simple example of that. So I have a code in R that basically generates some random numbers for a normal distribution and then plots that, right? A histogram of that. So let me run the code in R. Here's the results, right? Now I want to get the same code in Python. So all I need to do is to go to my ChatGPT. I will use 3.5. I don't need GPT-4 for this one. Translate this code from R to Python. And I'll paste my code here and wait for the results. Here is what I got from GPT. So I will go to my Jupyter notebook. I paste it here. I run the code. Here's the output, right? In a couple of seconds, I translated my code from R to Python. So this was another example of the capabilities of ChatGPT that can augment human tasks, right? You're tasked to do a job, right? Coding something or translating a code. It can do the job in a couple of seconds. So I remember last summer, I was teaching, so we had a ChatGPT for business course at StudentSpigo. And in one of the modules, we are discussing AI for coding and one of the capabilities of AI, which is code translations. One of my students said that their company was in process of translating from one code to another code, right? One software to another software. And they used, after they learned about it, they used this capability in their job and it made their task of moving from one language to another one much faster, right? Augmentation. Okay. The next thing, the last thing that I use ChatGPT for is advising. So many of us are assigned to advise the students. I have 45 students. I'm sure other schools have the same numbers, right? And it takes a lot of time to answer all those repeated questions from the students, right? And every time a student asks the question, I have to go back, take out the manual, make sure that the numbers that I'm giving them, the courses that I'm talking about are correct, right? I always have to double check it, right? So I created a GPT for myself and I gave it some information, some general questions that I received from my students. For example, they asked me questions like, I have taken 20 credits. Am I a freshman or a sophomore? right? Or how many more courses before I'm a junior, right? These type of questions. And every time I have to go and uh, check the manual that we have, right? Check the whole document, make sure that I'm giving the right numbers, right? Now let's take a look at this GPT and how well it works, right? So let me play the video that I have here. Here I'm going to use ChatGPT for academic advising. I'm going to ask it questions like, I have taken 52 credits, what's my academic standing? And it's going to answer based on the data that I have provided to it before. So it's telling me I'm second semester sophomore. How many more credits before I'm a junior? You can see that it can answer this question by telling me I need 5 more credits to become a junior. So you see, the system is capable to now talk with the students, right? And answer their questions. It's 24/7. It reduces a lot of workload from us. So a point of caution. Currently, I'm using it for myself. What data did I give him? So I put Shibuti. So what I did, I created a Word Office document and I gave it the information about the different student levels that we have at Oswego with the number of courses that they have to, number of credits that they need to have taken for each level, right? Sophomore, junior, senior. A point of caution is the system is not perfect yet because we don't know how to give it the input to get the best output. What I learned personally is if we give it tables, it may make errors. So always make everything textual. So here in this GPT, when I was making it, first I gave it a table for these student levels. There are other questions that we can ask it. What were the level of students, sophomore, freshman, senior, junior, etc., right? First semester sophomore, second semester sophomore. So I gave it a table and it was making errors. Then I made the table totally textual. Instead of saying like from 0 credits to 20 credits, I wrote it. Instead of putting in a table, I wrote it. The students who have taken 0 credits up to 20 credits are categorized as freshmen, right? This way, I figured that the GPT works much better. Probably because it was designed to read text rather than read tables or images and other things. But these are, I would say, still the early versions of AI tools, right? Next year, the year after, it will be way more complicated and way more what's called capable of running different tasks. So with this one, I think I finished my presentation. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. And here is my email address, by the way. If you want to connect, just send me an email if you have any questions. Or if you're using AI for different purposes that can enhance, my classes, please let me know. I'm very eager to learn more about different ways that people are using. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I see the message in the chat. Thank you very much.
Mohammed, a quick question. Have you tried using ChatGPT for tutoring in any of your classes?
I have not, to be honest. So still what I do is I am the layer between the system and the students because I don't want it to make errors. A student will, see it as a perfect tool when I let them use it, right? And if there is any error, it may affect them. What I did and worked was I created customized examples for students. So I was marking student answers, and I noticed that one student is making a mistake, right? And I wanted to make a customized example for that student so they can learn the topic better. I tasked ChatGPT to create an example with this and that, right? And it created that customized example for my student. So I was able to give that example to the student. They could learn the topic better. So that way I use it for tutoring. But making it like no layer between the student and the ChatGPT system, I have not.
Thanks.
Thank you.